days later.
And so it's just really fucked up because I actually really loved this space that I was in. And they didn't even give me a warning or nothing.
Jordan, they shouldn't give you a warning. With streaming becoming ever so popular, everybody is wanting to get their hands in the dirt and really dig deep and attempt to do some sort of streaming content. Now, no, that doesn't mean that they want to do some of the old world things like the Destinies or the Moist Criticals of the world used to do. They don't want to be the Ludwigs. They don't want to be the Miskips. They don't want to sit down at a desk, play a video game, and react to videos all the time. They want to be innovative. They want to be creative. And I commend them for that. But Jordan Lucas is an example for a lot of the creators out there that when you do streaming and you transition to that IRL prank fun streaming world, you have to be very, very careful. This is internet personality Jordan Lucas. She hails from the Deshae Frost camp. As far as I understand, that's his ex-girlfriend. And she has a pretty sizable following across all social media platforms. So naturally, seeing how everybody else at their mama is having fun streaming, she decided to stick her toe into the game. Now, she had been seeing a lot of success in the streaming game. On her first stream, she had hit her sub goals. She had a lot of guests and friends from her life like Cleo and Deshae pop up and pop out. She's been making music, you know, doing the normal streamer things. Now, with the normal streamer things, that does mean you have to up yourself, and that's where the farm got introduced into the situation. Now, as you can look and see in the background, she is at an apartment, and it's clear as day. And when she bought those farm animals in there, I've been in a few apartments. I don't know how many farms you can have in an apartment, but she saw the ramifications and the backlash of having a farm, a literal farm, like goats, chickens, hay, a pen, all those things in her apartment. She saw her world come crashing down after that.
So it's
what
like,
made her have
I
a
just
farm
moved,
though?
and it's so stressful having to deal with like me trying to learn a new craft and also trying to settle in. And then also I want to be like on time for you guys. Usually, you know, I'm not late or anything like that. It's like I just want to give you guys the best content that I can, you know, so that we can like build as a community together. I'm just like, I don't know if there's anything that I can do to combat it. Like, I'm pretty sure there has to be, like, 7 days is crazy. Like, it's Valentine's Day. Like,
what does Valentine's Day have to do with getting evicted? What?
we have to, like,
where's the correlation?
She got evicted with a 7-day notice. Full stop. She has to be out of her place in 7 days. Now, I know a lot of people aren't gonna like this. Maybe some people are, because as I read the comment section, they seem to be on my side, but the apartment has every right to break her lease and kick her out in that time frame. Now, I know it's fucked up and I know it's a quick turnaround, but ultimately, I'm almost 1,000% certain without reading any contractual agreements that there was nothing that said that she could have brought in those types of animals. I know for a fact this is something that she went ahead and cleared with her leasing office or the management company. Even if they said no, she would have at least been able to keep them in the loop so she doesn't get blindsided like this when things do happen. Or hell, even before she signed the lease off, she could have made it very clear and very known that, hey, I am a streamer. I am going to be doing different things in my apartment. I am going to utilize my place in space.
I want to see the context behind her having like the animals and whatnot. Like,
as a
someone explain it if anyone knows.
The thing about getting into an apartment is that it's very communal. The hallways are shared, the elevators are shared, the common rooms are shared, the walls are usually thin, the floor is usually somebody's ceiling. And I think a lot of people forget that. So no, that doesn't mean that you can do anything and everything just because it is your place in your space. And it definitely doesn't mean that you could, I don't know, bring Wilbur and whatever type of lambs and chickens and hogs and dogs
hens and all type of shit. Yeah.
It looks like she has an apartment on the top, but I'm already sure that you are stress testing these people with the noises that you're making, let alone bringing in any sort of foreign objects and different things like that.
Jordan gets evicted for having a farm in her high-rise apartment. Nah, girl, you knew dang well.
You can't have a goddamn farm.
Renter folks, whatever you want to call it, you know them folks don't play that stuff. They
what
already
was she
be
doing
tripping
with the
about
farm,
dogs
though?
and cats, and you gonna bring a farm up in that hole? So you mean to tell me you just bought Wilbur and friends in your apartment and was like, yeah, this gonna be fire right here. Then paying the rent 3 months in advance, knowing you was finna do some crazy stuff. Like, y'all need to stop doing all this crazy stuff for social media. A whole farm, I can't believe this. A pig.
Hey man, like sometimes I feel like the clicks and the likes and the views ain't worth it. It depends on what you're doing, but like, it ain't always worth it, bro.
Like, not a cat, not a dog, but a whole farm. Come on, my girl.
Just brought a cow in
you
there.
knew better.
Sometimes streamers get a little bit entitled. They feel as if they spend money or they have some celebrity or some sort of fame or clout, that means that whatever they do is justified because they paid for it, they bought it, and this is the way to grow. But honestly, that's not the case all the time. People have different rules and different boundaries that should be respected. Not to be some sort of fed, but I don't even know if she came to an agreement with her neighbors or her building that she was going to be showing it off in this sort of way, shape, form, or fashion. There are places places that even have harsh restrictions on filming, period, because people, creepos, can look out that background in that window, see exactly which apartment complex that is based off of mapping and the geographics in the background, and start to be vagrants and loiterers at the apartment complex in an attempt to see Jordan Lucas and any other celebrity, which ultimately disrupts the day-to-day life and actions of all the other people that are living in this apartment complex.
New York is an unlivable place for a content creator, because once you get to a certain size, it's brutal, bro. Niggas was camping outside the house in cars, trying to take flicks. Like, no cap, every time we came home, it was like a photo shoot. And we tried to keep it low key. The penthouse was even worse, chat. By the third day, it was gatherings of people.
Yeah, I think once you get to a certain point, the only thing, like, wealth-wise or status-wise, the only thing you would want is for no one to know who you are. Like,
giving us merch, trying to ask us to take photos, giving us their IG. Once niggas know where you live and it's not that hard to find it, they will stand outside your spot, bro.
I think right now streaming has a...
I hope I never have to experience that, because I don't ever want to be that known or that big. Not that I ever think I will really get to that point. I'm not really trying to have that happen to me. But, like, I think a lot of people want to be seen or want to be known or famous, but it's like when you really get to that point, like, chat, like, when y'all get to that point, if you ever do, if that's what you want, you understand that everything you do is being watched. Like you have no privacy, gang. Like, everything is watched.
It's very, very bad.
You gotta be on point no matter where you at, no matter what you're doing.
Think that Kai Cenat
do that
is
anyway,
probably
but
a
still
net positive in the world. I think they might think of some of the FaZe Clan as like a net positive in this world, but ultimately they think that that's a positive from the computer aspect. They don't necessarily want to live around it or be around it or have it disrupt their day-to-day lives. And then when I think about all the IRL streamers that take things just a little bit too far and they disrupt people's natural lives, I could totally understand why people wouldn't want Twitch streamers, Kick streamers, or any sort of IRL or content streamers being around their places and spaces. Not only can it be potentially destructive in some situations, but it can also just be a nuisance. Like, I have my own place. I've paid a lot of money for my own place. I don't want these kids running up and down this hall and doing their own thing. And there are some realities for streamers to face, because some of their peers are doing these destructive and disruptive things. They are causing property damage. They are wrecking and destroying other people's property. A lot of these streamers rent out Airbnbs or go to other people's establishments, and these content creators don't necessarily respect these places and spaces. And because there is such bad publicity, a lot of these good streamers are gonna have to face the ramifications and repercussions of what the people of their past did. Even if it means people are jumping to conclusions and kicking you out of a place and space that you're not doing anything bad in.
It's tough out here, chat. We've been getting iced out. Like, I feel like all the landlords in New York City probably got together in a big meeting of some sort, a cahoots, some would say, and they've made it very difficult for us to find a spot. Realistically, it's not that hard to research us blowing up our house, and that's just the way shit cookie crumble, man. So,
see, that's the thing with the internet, though. Everything that you put out there is forever. It's permanent, especially when it comes to like landlords and all that, people being able to look up what you do. So that's what's like, when you get to that point and you know what I'm saying, you making your rounds, this video going viral, that video going viral, you're blowing this up, you're blowing that up, you're going crazy. Ooh, whatever you're doing, you gotta be very careful that none of that will come back to bite you.
Oh, hopefully that shit gets all figured out soon.
Hell, I can even remember my time working with AMP or
like, I guarantee you all the landlords that know of them were either gonna do one of two things. You're either gonna flat out deny them and tell them, nah, you're not gonna be able to rent here. Or if they do, they're gonna tax. Listen, they're going to tax the dog shit out of them. They're going to tax them. They're gonna tax them so bad. They're either one gonna leave, or they're gonna put all type of crazy rules and regulations.
The other IRL content creators, and trying to carefully craft the perfect email or phone conversation in order to let them know that, hey, we're gonna respect your place and space. No, we're not like some of these other people that are destroying property, and that we're gonna come in and we're gonna try to boost and amplify your business or whatever the case may be. I'm not gonna lie, especially back then, 99% of the time, I could not get it off. Now, I think it must be much easier now because of the star that they've grown into, but it was so hard because streaming just had such a bad rap back then, and it still has a bad rap today. Now, with that being said, Jordan and any other content creator that's going this streaming route, you have a responsibility on your own when it comes to being just forthcoming. Yeah, I know you're gonna get a lot of no's, but once you get that yes, the burden will just be lifted off your shoulders. And as streaming becomes more and more popular, I think the number of yeses will be more and more available. But the problem is when people don't become forthcoming with who they are dealing with when it comes to making these sorts of transactions. Try to ensure that the person that you're renting from, borrowing from, using their establishment, that, hey, I'm gonna do something for you. It's gonna be mutually beneficial because I don't wanna just be looked at as potentially destroying your property. I do have insurance. I have insurance that can cover your different things, different damages and stuff like that I may cause. Even if you don't plan on doing certain things that may cause damages, if I were to rent an apartment right now and I knew I was just gonna be behind the desk, but I also knew that I was gonna be a streamer, I would let them know up front, hey, I am gonna be streaming. This is some of my content. They're probably not gonna look at it either way, but I also do have insurance that covers up to this much, because all they hear is streaming and they have their own mind going somewhere. But this insurance thing will just give you another level of security. I would also advise getting a house. I know that that's harder to do than, I'm saying, but this is also why content houses did exist and why I do think that they will be much, much more accepted going forward. I know that they have their ups and downs, their lefts and rights, but ultimately you have freedoms and liberties that a lot of other content creators don't have. I think this is a learning lesson for Jordan and any other content creators and streamers that, hey, the public still does view you a certain way, but that doesn't mean that you can't do things to probably aid and protect and make that situation just be a little bit more seamless than how it is already. She'll bounce back. She'll land on her feet. Get that content house, Jordan. Go in there with Cleo and Deshae Frost and hell, even Zoe Spencer. They could be some of the first women that break the whole women streamer mold. I could already see her, Brooklyn Frost, Zoe Spencer, and fuck it, throw Senna Britt in there, I guess. And Mari, yeah, throw Mari in there.
He said, fuck it, take her.